Hi everyone. My name is Matthew Garber with WIR, and this is my first radio show. So today, I guess I'm going to be speaking about UFC 229, one of the better cards for the new UFC event. Because if you guys know, the UFC has been a little dry as of recently with the absence of Conor McGregor. So for today, we'll be talking about 229 and how it looks and main event previews, predictions, and all the above. So easily, just to start. Other than the McGregor Khabib fight, we have Tony Ferguson, Anthony Pettis, which is definitely something to look at. Tony Ferguson coming right off of his injury and being able to step against Anthony Pettis is something that's going to be a very interesting fight for the co-main event that I don't think a lot of people are looking at because you obviously have a huge headline. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Tony Ferguson's not taking an easy fight right off an injury. That was very serious. He's coming back quickly. So me personally, I don't think it'll be an easy win for Tony Ferguson like everyone else. He's not going to walk right through Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis is a former lightweight champion. So it will be very interesting to see. And I think it'll be a very good fight. If not, it has potential to be better than the McGregor Khabib fight, depending on how it is. But I'm looking I'm very I'm sorry I'm looking forward to seeing that fight play out as well. And prior to I believe 2 days ago, there was supposed to be a fight with Sugar Sean O'Malley, who's coming up right now, which I was looking forward to. But according to the new USADA rules, he was pulled from the fight, so unfortunately he won't be on the card. But it is looking like a very sharp card. And obviously, we have one of the biggest events in UFC history taking place on this Saturday. So let's take a look at the main event. We have Khabib and Conor. Khabib obviously is 26-0, looking to be 27-0. He Russian from Dagestan, unbeatable champion. If you guys watch the UFC, you know who he is. But if not, insane wrestling. He's an extremely talented wrestler. His ground and pound game is insane. Once he gets you down, you're not getting up, and that's the whole thing with this fight. If Khabib gets Conor down, which we know isn't really that good on the ground, I believe he has a very underrated ground game, but he's also not at the peak. So, and definitely not at the same talent of Khabib when it comes to the ground game. So if Khabib gets Conor early, I think Khabib will take it. I think he'll dominate the fight. I think it'll be 5 rounds ground and pound. It'll be a beating. He'll maul him the entire fight, and there shouldn't be any problems. The only thing is, Conor McGregor has probably one of the best stand-up games in the UFC. His knockout power is legitimate. His one left hand could knock you at any time, any place. He could be losing the fight. Left hand can knock you out. We saw that with Eddie Alvarez. We saw that with Jose Aldo. We saw that with a lot of people. Even though he didn't knock out Max Holloway, we saw him fight Max Holloway. And the power was just insane. So Conor McGregor definitely is proven, obviously. But we're going to have to see. The fight, the benefit that Conor has is that the fight is taking place. It starts standing up. And if you guys saw Khabib fight, his last fight against Al, and then the Michael Johnson fight a couple fights ago, he's gotten rocked. Even against Edson Barbosa, he's gotten rocked. He can be hit, but all those guys are good, especially Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson has a really good stand-up game, but no one has the strength and the punching power as Conor McGregor. So we're going to see how Khabib could handle a real striker, especially coming off of a whole boxing camp. He just fought Floyd Mayweather. People think that he was gone for 2 years and he didn't do anything. I mean, he didn't do anything with mixed martial arts, but he was still training, according to Conor. So he added some more tools to the boxing game because he just focused on one skill that he was already very good at for a very long time to prepare for the camp for Floyd Mayweather. So we're gonna have to see. I don't think rust will be a problem with him. I know he's constantly training, from what I've seen. He looks very sharp. Yesterday they had the open workout. He looked fine. So I think that won't be an issue. I think the biggest issue going into this fight is how good his uh takedown defense is gonna be. We're gonna have to see how he's able to handle that. And if what I personally, if I had to make a prediction, I'm always been a Conor McGregor fan, but excuse the bias and all that. I personally think McGregor will win inside three. It'll be a TKO third round. That's my personal prediction. It's just I feel like the punching power is too hard for Khabib. He hasn't seen anyone at that caliber yet, and I really think Conor's takedown defense is very underrated. And I think Khabib might try to go for a takedown, and he'll hit him with that left hand, and that'll be it. That'll be it. But I could see it going either way. I do not think if Khabib wins, it will not be a knockout. It will not be a TKO. I would be extremely surprised if Khabib won and Conor. I mean, if Khabib won and he knocked him out, or it could be a possible submission. We've seen Conor tap twice, but I just don't. I don't. To be clear, once in the UFC and once in Cage Warriors, but I just don't see a submission or a knockout from Khabib. I just see him if winning 5 rounds, dominant, takedown, 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 beating on the floor, in full guard, just dominating. So that it could go either way. It's very wishy washy. I'm very interested though to see what takes place. I'm looking forward to the card as a whole, as I mentioned before. I'm gonna pull up actually who else is on the card to just refresh my memory a little bit. I'm very disappointed that Sean O'Malley was not on the card. I was looking forward to that. I know the card as a whole is good, and I know they just announced the women's fight for 230, which was looking good. But I'm looking forward to the Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz fight, which hopefully is for a title at 165. That'd be interesting. But let me see this fight card. Um, okay, Oven St. Preux is fighting. Derek Lewis is fighting, and Anthony Pettis' brother is fighting. Sergio Pettis. So yeah, there's a very good card here. I feel like it's been quite a while since the UFC has had one of those. Um, I thought the UFC would have been in a good place um around the Cody Garbrandt time when him and um TJ Dillashaw were having their rivalry. Um, that kind of died down a little bit. The Daniel Cormier thing was really the only thing I felt that was going on in the UFC, becoming the second two-way world champion. John Jones rumored to come back. You could tell they're trash talking a little bit. So there has been some interesting stuff every now and then. But if we're being brutally honest here, the UFC has really been dry as of late, and I personally think it's because Conor McGregor's not in the sport. He just keeps the whole thing moving. Even when he was in it, I remember Max Holloway was fighting Anthony Pettis for the title, and it did very good numbers. And that was right around the time that I think it was either 208 or 209, because I know McGregor fought at 205 against Alvarez at UFC 205. So it was just all those fights were very well talked about. And I remember Ronda fought around that time when McGregor fought. So it's going to be very interesting to see how many pay-per-views this does. I cannot believe it's going down. I'm going to wait until the weigh-ins because I really don't trust Khabib after he has a history of not making weight. So we're definitely going to see. Excuse me. It should be very interesting. And I definitely think it's going to be one of the best UFC fights of all time. Not just because of the people in it. I just think it's going to be just a great stylistic matchup for both of these guys because you're two people whose weaknesses are their strengths. Conor's weakness is the ground, and Khabib's is the stand-up. So you got two guys who specialize in that, and they got to face their fears. That's ultimately what it comes down to. So those are my predictions. I think Connor's going to TKO him or knock him out. Either or, third round, definitely. Um, and we'll have to see where it goes. It could be earlier. I just personally think it'll be third round. So let's see. Let's enjoy ourselves Saturday. And thank you guys for watching.